All right, so what we're going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be training you on how to use your supply. So in this example set, what we're going to do is two things. I'm going to show you some supplies, and at the same time, I'm going to show you how to draw them correctly as well, okay? All right, so a couple things. So let's say we're looking at this Euro USD chart, right? It's been going in a downtrend, in a downtrend, in a downtrend. So what a supply is, right? You always want to think of it in terms of where did the selling offset the buying, okay? Now, that's the simple language. And let me explain that to you, because whenever the buyers get offsetted by the sellers, okay, which means there's more sell money than there is buy money, okay? That means there's more products to be sold than there is products to be bought. And that's what creates the prices to get discounted, because there's not enough people willing to buy it. So you have to lower the price of your product, right? To match the demand. The goal is to reach an equilibrium, right? This is like the goal. The market's to go sideways. If the market does not go sideways, they look for the next price to go sideways, where the buyers and sellers are satisfied. Okay, so having that said, anytime where there's an offset and the sellers take over, it creates an area of supply. So there is a supply in here. There's an imbalance in the market where there's more sellers than there is buyers. There is more sellers than there is buyers, because that's why the market takes off. Now, how far it takes off also makes a difference. The further it takes off means the buyers just quit and there's way too much sellers left, and you can actually see depending on how far it goes, okay, and how many orders for the sell side there is. So having that said, now we can't always just draw a circle like that, right, or a box around that and be like, well, all of that is supply. So how do we draw it actually, right? How do we actually get into it and draw it? So in this particular case, what we're looking for is every step of the way, whenever someone is buying, selling, and then it goes higher, you can see there's a support and resistance line here, right? They're buying higher, and as they're trying to buy, the buys are no longer working and they're crashing. Okay, same thing here. Buying, it holds, and it buys, and it goes a little bit higher high. Okay, it holds, they buy, goes a little bit higher high. It holds, but he's unable to hold that SNR and go higher again. So that area where it's unable to hold and it drops, we want to say the supply is the most out of balance around those prices. So how do we do that? So what we're going to do is we can take a few lines and saying once it comes above an area of support and resistance where it's supposed to bounce and hold, we can say it's going to use all of that area. Okay? And we want to contain all of that up there. Okay? You don't want to make it very, very precise. You just want to know that there is an offset of supply up in that area. Now, this goes very hand in hand with support and resistance as well. Okay? Because support and resistance has the idea of something strong needs to break support. In this case, something strong went through it. We're not focused on exactly where did the power come from. We're more focused on, wow, someone broke through this support with a lot of sell orders. Looks like we might not be able to get back all the way up there. Okay, but so supply and demand, and the difference between support and resistance is looking for telling you that price has gone way too far and it's going to have a tough time coming back. Supply and demand is basically telling you where the power originated. That's the difference. Okay, if you're wondering like that. So there's a supply in there. There's a supply in the next one just above that support resistance. Okay, you want to contain that area and saying seems like someone was trying to buy off that support resistance and they couldn't. It didn't go further, and then it just crashed on them. There's a supply in there, and then so on and so forth. So you can be, finding these spots, in many locations. There's an area here. Okay, the last buyers, and then it just crashes on them, right? It just keeps going down. So you also want to use a lot of this logic of where is the rubber band man going? Okay, if the rubber band man is just starting, okay, don't forget, the whole thing revolves around the logic of, did you understand the flow of the market? Okay, remember how we always say, no one is selling up here. No one knows to sell because people do not anticipate, they participate, right? Some sell in here, more sell in here, and a lot more sell in here. Okay? And if there's a lot of people selling, okay, then the discounts get bigger and bigger. It's looking for a price where people will be willing to buy more and more and more. So the further things go down, the more buyers will come. Okay? And the opposite is also true. The further something goes up, the more sellers it will attract. Right? It's as if, to think about the Forex industry or Bitcoin industry right now. The more Bitcoin is becoming attractive, the more Bitcoin courses are being released, right? The more Bitcoin services are being released. So the higher the demand of something happens, suddenly you'll get a flood of services that come around it. And the opposite is true. When there's way too many services and they start lowering and lowering the prices and giving better and better services, people will start buying them a little bit more and more and more. Okay, as the discounts come in. Okay, so keep those things in mind. So that's how you draw your supplies. So as we go forward, you want to also keep track of these areas. Like this looks like a supply right here, but you want to keep in mind, how did it move away from this area? Okay, did he just drop dramatically? Well, he didn't go much further, and the speed he went down was very slow and choppy compared to these other ones. All these other ones were able to make brand new lows, right? They were able to make brand new lows. This makes them a lot more important, right? Even this one, he was able to create a brand new low. But this one, he just broke this area, but he didn't make a brand new low from, this seller's territory with the guy who started it. We were still inside the seller's territory, and all of this stuff, it belongs to this guy, right? So because there's no brand new low, we know the trend has been going down for some time. We need to start getting careful with what is actually a supply, and is there much orders left? Okay, so a lot of these come into handy as you get deeper and deeper down into the trend. They will start pulling back deeper and deeper, and then your supplies will start getting used more frequently. Okay, all of your supply areas, sorry, this should be a little bit higher to be precise. They will start getting used more frequently. So if we go further down, let's see if we can spot some of these areas here. So there's that. Okay. Again, you don't want to keep it very, very exact. You want to be a little bit cautious about it, and you don't want to keep it like to an exact science that that you want to do exactly here, and the stop loss just 1 pip above that. You don't want to get in the habit of doing that. If you're a futures or a stock trader, things are different there. You don't have spike outs as easily because the spreads are very, the price of the market is very standard across all platforms. Okay, in Forex, my price is different from your price, is different from the next guy's price, right? So if price is different in everyone's home and they're slightly variable, then expect slight movements and variations up and down from the area that you're looking to do some trading. Okay, so in this particular case, as the markets jump up and they start going up really, really, really high, there are orders left in here, the off balance, right? So even if you're looking at this as a buyer, you know that there's some trouble coming up ahead. So you can also use this as reference points of where can the markets cause me issues. Okay, so these are some of the examples on the supplies and how to draw them Now let's go into the next video, and we're going to talk about demands and how to draw demands.